Aloha everyone, and welcome back to the Worldwide Guide. Hawaii is the most unique state in the US. With rainforests, pristine beaches, volcanoes, and rich Polynesian culture, Hawaii is the perfect place to visit any time of year. With 8 major islands, each with slightly different climates and geography, there are so many things to do. After spending a lot of time there over the past couple of years, here are my 10 best places to visit in Hawaii. The Na Pali coast is widely considered one of the most beautiful stretches of coastline on the planet, and it's not hard to understand why. Spanning 17 miles along Kauai's northwest shore, this is a landscape of towering sea cliffs, some rising over 1,000 feet straight out of the ocean, deep hanging valleys, hidden waterfalls, and narrow strips of golden sand that can only be reached by boat. Historians believe this rugged coastline was the first part of Kauai settled by ancient Hawaiians, who farmed its valleys and fished its waters for centuries. What has helped preserve Na Pali's beauty is that there are no roads through it, and it's remained completely undeveloped and largely untouched. Today, visitors can experience Na Pali in 3 ways. The most popular option is a boat tour. Catamarans and raft tours take you directly beneath the cliffs and into sea caves. You can also take a helicopter tour for unmatched aerial views of the interior valleys and waterfalls that would otherwise be inaccessible. And for the adventurous, you can hike the Kalalau Trail, which begins at Ke'e Beach at the end of Highway 560 on the North Shore, offering 11 miles of challenging hiking into the heart of Na Pali. Whichever way you choose to see it, the Na Pali coast is a non-negotiable for any trip to Kauai. Just a short drive inland from Kauai's west coast is Waimea Canyon. Nicknamed the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, Waimea Canyon stretches 14 miles long, 1 mile wide, and plunges more than 3,600 feet deep. It was carved over millions of years by the Waimea River, and the canyon walls are striped in colorful reds and oranges from volcanic rock. Admission costs $5 per person and $10 per vehicle, and is valid for both Waimea Canyon and Koke'e State Parks on the same day. From the various lookout points along Highway 550, you get unobstructed panoramic views of the canyon floor, the winding river below, and on clear days, even the cliffs of the Na Pali coast in the distance. One of my other favorite views is of Waipo'o Waterfall, which you can even hike to or view from several lookouts. You should plan to spend at least a half day touring the canyon, whether that's just stopping at lookouts or also hiking through the forest trails. Now heading over to the island of Maui, our next stop is Haleakalā National Park. Haleakalā is the dormant volcano of Maui, and its summit is over 10,000 feet above sea level. The landscape here looks unlike anywhere else in the Hawaiian Islands, with cinder cones and volcanic rocks stretching across the 7-mile-long crater. Haleakalā is most famous for its sunrise and sunset views. The sunset I experienced was truly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. If you choose to visit for sunrise, just know that you do have to make advanced reservations, but that's not required for sunset. Haleakalā also offers incredible hiking trails that take you through the Mars-like terrain. There are over 30 miles of trails that descend into the volcanic crater, and you can even camp overnight in multiple cabins inside the national park. You also can't overlook the stargazing here, which is the best you'll find in Hawaii, with millions of stars overhead on clear nights. It takes 1 to 2 hours to drive up here for most parts of Maui, and costs $30 to enter in a car. The summit of Haleakalā also gets very cold. I visited in September, and it was 50 degrees compared to 80 down on the beach. If you're open to a little road trip, the amazing views are totally worth the drive up. Down the hill from Haleakalā is our next stop, the road to Hana. The Hana Highway begins near the town of Paia on Maui's north shore and winds 64 miles east to the remote town of Hana, crossing nearly 60 bridges and passing through dense rainforests, hundreds of waterfalls, and along coastal cliffs. Along the way, some of my favorite stops include Twin Falls near the start, Waianapanapa State Park just before Hana, home to Maui's famous black sand beach framed by lava cliffs and sea arches, Hamoa Beach, a picture-perfect beach that is said to be the birthplace of the demigod Maui, who fished the Hawaiian Islands from the sea himself, and Oheo Gulch, which has these incredible cascading waterfalls that flow into the ocean. Be advised that the road to Hana is narrow and winding, so please drive cautiously and pull over to the side of the road if you're feeling overwhelmed. For the best experience, I'd recommend starting early in the morning to avoid peak traffic and to ensure you're able to enjoy all of your stops along the way. The road to Hana is easily one of the most rewarding things you can do in all of Hawaii. Now heading 3 miles off the coast of Maui, our next stop is Molokini Crater. Molokini is home to over 250 species of fish and offers some of the best snorkeling anywhere in the world. On clear days, underwater visibility can reach up to 150 feet, making Molokini a snorkeler's paradise for all experience levels. The crater's unique crescent shape and offshore location create exceptionally calm conditions for all the marine life here. Many of these fish are found only in Hawaii, and you might also encounter manta rays, whale sharks, octopus, or reef fish like the humuhumunukunukuapua'a, the state fish of Hawaii. You can't actually go onto the island itself because it is a state seabird sanctuary, but it is cool admiring the unique birds from the water below. There are several tour groups that can take you out there, and I went with Four Winds. The boat ride was about an hour, and once you're out there, you get a few hours to swim surrounded by fish. It was seriously one of the coolest things I've experienced, and you have to check it out if you're in Maui. Leaving Maui, let's head to Lanikai Beach on the island of Oahu. About a 35-minute drive from Honolulu sits Lanikai, a small, crescent-shaped beach consistently ranked among the finest in the world. The name translates to Heavenly Sea in Hawaiian, and the beach lives up to it. The sand is powdery, the water is a clear, shallow turquoise, and offshore sits the twin Mokulua Islands, two small, uninhabited islets that serve as a seabird sanctuary and a kayak destination. If you feel up to the adventure, definitely rent kayaks in town and paddle out to the islands. What separates Lanikai from other famous Oahu beaches is its small scale and how quiet it is. There are no hotels on the beach, no parking lots, and no large buildings at all, because this is a residential beach, which also means parking is on-street and limited, and there are no lifeguards, restrooms, or showers, so come prepared. With that said, it really doesn't get much better than this. Lanikai is what I think of when I think of a Hawaiian beach oasis, and it also has an incredible view at sunrise with the light coming up over the Mokulua Islands. Now heading over the Ko'olau mountain range is Diamond Head. Diamond Head is a volcanic cone next to Waikiki Beach that's one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of Hawaii. The 1.6-mile round-trip hike to the summit rim climbs through the crater, up a series of switchbacks, emerging at a bunker built during World War II. From the summit, you get a 360-degree panoramic view of Waikiki and downtown Honolulu to the west, the Ko'olau Mountains to the north, and the endless Pacific Ocean south. Since it is so popular, you do have to make a reservation ahead of time, and entry costs $5. Even with the small fee, Diamond Head is one of the best hikes in all of Hawaii. Our next stop is Oahu's North Shore, the premier surfing destination in all of Hawaii. The North Shore is a 7-mile stretch of coastline centered around the small town of Haleakalā. During winter, the North Shore produces some of the largest and most powerful waves on the planet. The Bonsai Pipeline, specifically at Ehukai Beach Park, is one of the most famous surf breaks in the world, hosting professional competitions and drawing elite surfers from around the globe every season. Outside of surf competitions, the North Shore is a relaxed stretch of the island with a distinctly local feel. In summer, the ocean calms completely, and the same beaches that produce massive winter swells become some of Oahu's best swimming and snorkeling spots. There's also Waimea Valley just inland, which offers a botanical garden, a waterfall area you can swim in, and Toa Luau, which I absolutely love for the authentic Polynesian dances and, of course, the delicious food. For the quintessential Hawaiian experience, with pristine beaches and chill vibes, the North Shore is where it's at. Now heading to the island of Hawaii, known as the Big Island, is Akaka Falls State Park. On the lush Hamakua coast, about 11 miles north of Hilo, Akaka Falls plunges 442 feet into the Kole Kole stream below. What makes this so unique is how the water falls clean off a cliff face, framed on all sides by dense tropical rainforest. The park costs $25 per car and $5 per person, and the path to reach Akaka Falls is a fully paved 0.4-mile loop trail that takes about 30 minutes to walk. Along the way, the trail winds through bamboo groves, wild orchids, and towering tea plants. For views of the coolest waterfall in the state, you have to visit Akaka Falls. Last but not least, no list of Hawaii's greatest places would be complete without Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park. And it earns its place because there's genuinely nothing else like it in the world. The park sits on the flanks of 2 active volcanoes, Kilauea, one of the most continuously active volcanoes on Earth, and Mauna Loa, the largest active volcano on the planet. The entrance fee is $35 per vehicle, and the park covers 323,000 acres of terrain that ranges from sea level to over 13,000 feet, through lava fields, rainforests, desert, and alpine summit. If you love volcanoes as much as I do, and want a good chance of seeing lava flow in action, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park has to be on your itinerary. And those are the 10 best places to visit in Hawaii. From the sea cliffs of Kauai to the active summit of Kilauea, Hawaii offers a range of natural landscapes that very few places on Earth can match. Whether you're planning your first trip or your 5th, these 10 destinations represent the best of what the islands have to offer. If this guide was helpful, give this video a like, subscribe for more travel guides, and drop a comment below. Let us know which place you're most excited to visit. Safe travels and aloha.